Welcome back, everybody, to the Renaissance Humanism podcast. In today's episode, I will be discussing the murder of Tiberius Crassus. The murder of Tiberius Crassus is one of history's most significant murders and events that contributed and marked the beginning of the fall of the Roman Empire, when Tiberius was murdered in 133 BC and his brother Gaius Crassus was also murdered in 221 BCE. The Roman Senate murdered both Crassus' brothers, with Tiberius himself being beaten to death by the Roman senators, similar to Gaius Julius Caesar, who was also famously assassinated in 44 BC. A group of conspirators of counting 60 decided to assassinate Caesar at the meeting of the Senate on March the 15th. The Ides of March, collectively, the group stabbed Caesar reportedly 23 times, killing the Roman leader. What makes the murder of Tiberius Crassus so historically significant is that it marked a turning point in Roman political history, where political debate and the ability to resolve substantial issues through peaceful democratic process stopped working. From 133 BC onwards, Roman political leadership no longer resolved the problems they could resolve peacefully by debate or oratory, but instead on the battlefield or through murder, which plagued the Roman Empire into its final destruction in 1453 AD by the Ottoman Turks. Of the Roman emperors of the first citizen, which will be the correct terminology of the imperial Roman period of rule, and states leaders, which had 33 emperors who were murdered or executed. 30 were dispatched by sword or dagger. These other 26 were killed by Roman soldiers, 5 decapitated, and 1 Valentinian III by German mercenaries. As for the Eastern Roman Empire, which existed from 330 AD until 1453 AD, 88 emperors and empresses, 47 died natural deaths, 6 were killed during military revolt, 7 were deposed and mutilated, 11 were deposed and exiled or entered a monastery, 2 were deposed and pursued a further political careers, 3 were deposed, imprisoned, and later executed. 6 were murdered in their palaces, 1 in church on Christmas Day, 1 by his uncle, and a mob killed 1, and 2 were killed by foreigners in battle. 1 retired, 30 emperors founded dynasties in which multiple members of their family succeeded them. That was from 330 AD to 1453 AD. As was demonstrated by my words, what I've just spoken, the murder of Tiberius Crassus contributed, along with several other factors, to the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, because his death marked a fundamental change in Roman political culture. For people reading this who enjoy learning about history or the rise and fall of the Roman empires or the rise and fall of empires in generally, the murder of Tiberius Crassus marked the event that clearly showed a failure of politics that compounded over the centuries throughout the Roman Empire. For nations and empires to survive and to be successful, there need to be a political mechanism that enables winners to win and the losers to lose and not kill their opponents. This is very relevant to modern day politics within the United States. Nations, particularly democracies, are becoming more and more tribalistic. Both political parties, either Democrat or Republican, are growing increasingly unable to find common ground, leading to increasing instability in the United States political system. This same attitude has become the new norm around with Western democracies and liberal nations all around the globe, particularly in Europe and the English-speaking peoples. Once we stop listening to one another, it leads to a failure of democracy and for sophisticated states to operate and function without becoming basket cases of instability, chaos that late Roman Empire had, which led to repeated civil wars, murder after murder of its leadership. Tiberius Gracchus was murdered for attempting to reform the Roman Republic and remove it from the dependency on the senatorial classes and their control over the wealth. Tiberius wanted to give more power and influence to the Roman people and its middle classes. Unfortunately, the wealthy Roman senatorial classes saw him as a threat to their wealth and power and murdered him for it. It was not until the dictatorship of Gaius Julius Caesar that the Roman public would be reformed and it would be able to function again as a governing body of the Roman Empire, which expanded throughout the Mediterranean even during the time of Tiberius Gracchus. Rome also needed to be reformed because it was a republican city-state that ruled an empire. It needed to transform itself from a city-state into a governing body that could rule an empire, due to Roman politics being developed to govern only the Roman city and the surrounding lands. The Roman Republic was never designed to work as an empire. This is why Tiberius tried to make reforms, and only why Gaius Julius Caesar made the changes necessary to keep the Roman Empire alive by becoming dictator for life. While the successors to Caesar, Augustus created the position of first citizen or emperor or princeps that we know today. They did it because it was the only way to actually create a monarchic system, but with Roman and republican characteristics. Because Augustus and the future emperors, they were never called emperors during their lifetimes. It's only more modern historians that actually use that terminology. In reality, they were the first citizen. And that's why the Roman Empire was so politically dysfunctional, because it was not able to actually successfully reform and to make the changes needed for the actual republic and later the empire to survive. I hope you found this podcast interesting and informative. And don't forget to subscribe, and peace out.